Hi there. Hello. How are you? Anyway, great. So I'll just get right into it. I'm Clean Sarah. This is going to be a OG Xbox 2004 Fable 90% tutorial. I have on the screen here a little handy pointer for stuff I want to point out. This section right here of Live Split without a timer is so you can tell which section of the guide we're going to be in. And down in here I have notes that I will also probably have either a paste bin or a Google Doc link to in the video description once this is up on YouTube. And then I have a couple of one more little graphic that'll come up later on in Trader Escort. And then I also have something for the next section. It's going to be a short little video. Show you how to change game language and such. But anyway. First question. What's the best way to run the game? Which console do I use? Do I use OG hardware or do I use 360? That depends on what you have available to you. Having the game installed on the console hard drive is fastest for either one. Let's see, I'll just read from the notes, I guess. OG Xbox will play the game at the best possible frame rate and is not prone to crashing at all. Take that with a grain of salt, because it's Fable. We do call the game Stable Fable for a reason, but OG Xbox is definitely far safer than 360 is, because you have such a high chance of random crashes on 360, because as it says here, 360 emulation struggles to maintain a decent frame rate, suffers from audio and video glitches, and like I just said, is far more prone to crashing. One of the runners, Midas, actually had quite an issue with getting runs past Knothole Glade because, well, it kept on crashing on him when he got there. Not a great way to speedrun the game, but if it's your only means, then I'm afraid you're probably just going to have to bite the bullet there. And that once again, you want it to be installed on your console's hard drive, because 360 especially, it runs the game okay off a disc, but it's going to be slow. I guarantee you that. And then if your OG console is old, you're probably going to have issues as well, just with load times. So if you can get your OG console either soft modded or hard modded, by all means, we allow it, because the run is timed in RTA. And that's because we don't have any accurate means of removing load times. Let's see here. Yeah, I pretty much just went into that. Profiles have a 5 save slot limit, so you will have to play through parts of the game several times just to make practice saves. That's something that could be helped with if one of the runners is able to share their save data from their modded OG Xbox. I currently cannot, but I believe it should be possible to share that with other folks. We'll figure that out in due time, I'm sure. But for now, you're probably going to have to play through the game several times just to make practice saves. Enabling and disabling Guildmaster help was an option added in Lost Chapters and is not present in OG, so you're going to hear the Guildmaster screaming at you because your mana is low, and you've received a new quest card, and all that wonderful happy baloney that he spouts all the time. Only capture requirement is that the game is visible for the entire run. Drop frames, video stutters, stream cutouts, that shit happens. Sometimes your streaming service is just not so great. Sometimes, they drop the ball for no good reason. And, it happens. And sometimes, well, your internet just takes its crap on you. I get it. It happens. Gameplay settings, subtitles and tutorials. I'm gonna touch on those in just a second here. Let me actually get into the game for this. But as it says there, gameplay settings, subtitles and tutorials need to be turned off to make matching through dialogue faster and disable extra pop-ups. Everything else should be configured to your, per your own experience. So that would be found here in options. I was smart enough to just set in options in new profile to turn off subtitles and tutorials, and I'll actually go ahead and show off why you want to do this right here. I'm going to configure the audio so it's a bit quieter. Hopefully not blasting you guys' ears, because I know I made a mistake doing that in my last guide. Hopefully it's not too quiet, and hopefully I'm not, like, blaringly loud either. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll use this guy as an example. It's a perfect example, really. So just pay attention to the rate at which I go through the dialogue here.
What looks my what? Good luck, my look up.
Alright, that wasn't too bad, right? Well, let's see what happens when I turn off subtitles and tutorials. And I apologize for this load screen. It's console. I'm gonna kind of just have to deal with it. I am good on audio. That's good. Okay, thank you. I'll try to answer questions in chat too, for those of you who are here live to watch it, because I'll probably miss something. Oh, did I accept the changes? Okay, I did. Good. All right, so I'll touch on what I'm doing here in a second, because it's that was much faster. So yeah, you definitely want to. Definitely want to make sure you turn off subtitles and tutorials. That's actually important. And then... let's see here. I guess I'll go on to the next thing, and that would be game language. This is only really going to come into play when you are looking to really optimize your time. I have down here the actual time differences for Bargate Prison and such. But... the thing you want to know, every language is faster than English. And every version of the game, to my knowledge, should have English. So, whichever release you have, per your region, just try messing around with language settings with your Xbox, and I'll go ahead and pull up the video on how you can do that here. For both OG, Xbox, and 360. But, yeah, the language difference comes when you get to Bargate Prison because there is unskippable spoken and the outside world dialogue, which is a bit annoying. And it's spoken 34 seconds faster in French than it is in English, so most optimally you want to run the game in French, but for the sake of this guide, and because it's the language every release of the game should have, I'm just going to do the guide in English. But for your first runs, just use whichever language you are most comfortable with. Don't worry about the time save from playing in a different language, because that'll really only come into play when you're going for like world record tier stuff. So, not a massive concern, in my opinion. Alright then. Before you start, when making a profile for runs, make sure the game is freshly booted and immediately hero save after making the profile. I did that earlier. You can see here. Time spent in-game is 0 hours, 0 minutes. You want to quit back to the main menu, or even better, just do a fresh restart of the entire console. Just to make sure that you don't have any file corruption, because... I know in Lost Chapters, I'm not sure how much of a factor this is in OG, but TLC on PC, there is the potential for carrying over, like, your summon creature. You have the time spent in-game that can carry over as well. Some stats can carry over. It's just messy, so you want to make sure you quit out of the game entirely when you go to make a profile for runs. And money can carry over apparently too, so yeah, definitely want to make sure that you have a completely fresh 0 hours, 0 minutes hero save here in Child Oakvale, Start Oakvale. Alright, movement, like I said I was going to get around to. Core of your movement is rolling. And this is not an easy thing, especially on console. It's hard enough on PC sometimes, but yeah, it's just going to take some getting used to. I personally use a double tap method usually. So whenever I'm, you know, rolling, I have an extra input in case my first one misses. It's just kind of a safety net, kind of adopted from my TLC runs as well. But yeah, that's just the method I use. And I also kind of flick my right analog stick to reposition the camera. Probably not the method everyone's going to use, and it also depends on where you're rolling to. Some angles are going to be really sharp, and I'll try my best to point them out. Like, that one is kind of sharp as well. And then there's also, like, really, really tight spaces where you kind of want to just, like, go run around the corner. And again, I'll try and point those out. And there are not too many of them, but the ones that are going to stand out the most yeah, I'll try and point them out. Guard's probably going to try and catch me while I'm standing here, but that's alright. When resetting. And if you're just starting, you should never really have to reset. Unless you know that your run is irredeemable. And by irredeemable, I mean, like, you have just gotten a beetle as your summon creature. That is pretty much irredeemable. Like, you can still get it to become something else from a bad wasp. That you can still salvage that. Beetles, no. No, beetles are run over. You better reset, and yeah, no, it's game over. GG, you're done. Anyway, one of the main reasons you want to quit out of the game to the main menu is Pissman. Oh yes, good example here. No skip glitch. This doesn't really matter too much for OG. It's just a slight inconvenience. You'll notice you heard the sound of me skipping the cutscene, but the cutscene is not skipping. And the Y skip cutscene is missing. Also, why is my capture feed not properly filling? There we go. All right, that's not perfect, but it's better than it was. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, so let me just get my trusty pointer here. There's this little green dot right here. This is Pissman. Sometimes if you load from within the game, like I'm about to try and do, let's see if I can get him to go wandering about. Sometimes he'll wander. And you really don't want him to wander, because if you wander and go into his proximity-based cutscene trigger, you'll trigger a cutscene and then you'll just be sent back down over into probably there-ish, where his barrels and crates are, because he'll want... Okay, that was nowhere near. And he's also not wandering, it looks like, which is good, but if he is wandering, just quit out of the game and try again. And if he wanders anyway, definitely just make a new profile and try again. But, yeah. Attributes. I'm not sure why I put those here, but they're kind of important, so I'll go ahead and touch on them. Physique. Increases your physical damage output. As I say here, Aeons is OP, but it can be better. Alright. Speed. Increases your rolling speed, so the rate at which I'm rolling right now, it can be faster. Just level up your speed. And it also increases your attack speed, so, you know, you're not punching really slow. Even that's not all that slow, but still. Accuracy. Increases your bow damage and reduces the jitter of your crosshair in FPS mode. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Magic power increases your mana pool. Willmaster's elixirs also do this, but increases it less than a magic power upgrade does. So a magic power upgrade and Willmaster's elixir are not one and the same. And that will come into play when we get to Arena. And I'll explain more about that when we actually do get there. But anyway, let's go ahead and make an effort to start up this Runnerino. Oh yeah, and just to emphasize, like, the amount of times that you're probably going to have to play through the game. I don't even have a full, proper set of practice saves because I just wanted to make the things that really mattered, like, when I was at the last bit, because I didn't want to play through the game a 5th time the night I made these practice saves. So, at most, you're going to need probably 5. But, 4 or 3... that's probably all you're really going to need if you're feeling pretty okay with the game. Autosave. It's fine. You don't need to worry like that. But just pretend I loaded save 1. Just pretend. Alright, so the way I start the timer usually is I have it set to a negative so I can give myself a little countdown so I can actually start my run when the timer hit 0, and I hit A to dismiss this thing. That is when you want to start your time. So it'd just be like 3, 2, 1, go. And then I'm gonna go over here, cross this bridge, down the hill, and there's the bully and the kid. You want to punch the bully when you get there. And it's a bit faster if he blocks you. He didn't block me here, but it's fine. You want to make sure that you face him so that he will either run into you or just run off the frame of the camera or whatever, because that will trigger the cutscene faster. If you're facing this way, odds are he's gonna try and go running all the way down here, and the game will not let you skip the cutscene. The thing progresses when he either touches you or he goes just off screen. But it's slower if he doesn't do that. So, anyway, teddy bear in hand. Roll past that dude. Guard's not a problem yet. You have a couple ways you can give her the teddy bear. You can just talk to her, but slightly faster is to just right trigger and up on the D-pad. Hand it to her directly. It skips just a couple lines of dialogue. Just one of those little optimizations. And like I said earlier, rolling is really tough.
Go on. I can't.
Don't need to talk to him again like I just did. Rolling is tough. So it's actually not too much slower in the opening if you just run. Like, you're probably only going to lose like 6 seconds. But it's something you're going to want to practice either way.
Look, there's it right.
Okay, so that was an example of getting caught by the guard. And you typically don't want to be caught by the guard. But it wastes 2 to 4 seconds, I'd think, on OG. Yeah, reset. Anyway, I kind of just blazed right through that. But you just kind of want to follow that route.
Hello,
when you're
little
speaking
brother.
to Teresa here, you want to say no, and then mash A to give her the chocolates. And it actually works out that pretty well, because in OG, the dialogue boxes for yes, no, they pop up like immediately,
Wait,
unlike in
There's
Lost
something
Chapters.
wrong.
Alright, here you want to just be kind of mashing Y. Do not be holding the left analog stick, but wait until you actually see game, until you start moving. Because there is actually a single frame where you'll be facing towards the fence down there. Probably should have shown that, like, as I was doing it, but I apologize. There's a single frame where you can actually just be going that way and you'll be running into the fence and not going anywhere. So wait until you actually see the game load in to do anything, movement-wise. I usually split on autosaves. That's just a little personal note. Don't need to do that. You can split whenever you want.
It's time to wake up.
Guild's a bit more difficult to roll in, but you want to make your way to the Guildmaster. Not going to touch on Punching Whisper here. So yeah, some sharp corners here. Need to just sprint, hold B, left analog stick, all that nice stuff. Kind of want to just follow the path I'm taking. You run up to the Guildmaster if you need to. Get rid of this dialogue box, punch this dummy.
I'm not making much of an impact.
Guildmaster is going to give you a stick. Hit the white button to pull out your stick. Beat the dummy up. Gonna sublimate.
Ah, now that's more.
Now you can either walk into this, or you can hold right trigger, suck the experience in. Something I could have touched on there. There was a little brief moment before that cutscene prompt, the quest prompt rather, came up, where you can perform an action. Usually, kind of want to just roll, or you could pull out your stick. Either way, I usually roll myself, but beetles. Not really much I can say about the beetles. Just gotta kind of have to be patient. Try not to swing at random. If you can get some in one hit, if you can get cleaves like that, that's optimal.
Well,
probably just made that look really easy, but it's pretty rough on Xbox. I can say that. You want to get rid of your thingies, your quest prompts with A, so don't be mashing Y. I'll explain combat multiplier when it becomes relevant. Yeah. Okay, hold on. This right here, this little thing right here, you can see how the floor is just kind of elevated a little bit. That you can easily get stuck on that. So, if you do, just wiggle your left analog stick and just power through it. That little bit in particular is a really obnoxious place to get stuck on. Try to avoid corners too, because walls in this game are really sticky. Or just impassable surfaces that happen to be in a horizontal position. Okay, so pull out your sword, hit Whisper 7 times with it. Or hit her staff, I guess. But she'll always block you there. Unless you flourish, but flourishes are slow. You don't really want to bother with that. There is a pattern to this to make sure that you don't waste time with Whisper. She's actually manipulable. So the way I do it, dismiss this, hard target, block, roll, block, roll, block, do nothing, block, roll, block.
Well done.
Okay. Something I'm kind of doing, you kind of can't see all too well, is I'm holding B so I'm sprinting without using a flourish.
All wrong, Whisper.
Basically, you want to be able to hit Whisper 7 times there. The optimal patterns usually are you hit her 3 times, she'll flip towards you, then you hit her 4 more times, or you hit her 4 times, and then she'll flip towards you, and then hit her 3 more times. What she does there is just random, but the 3 or 4, then 3, anyway. Yeah, that would be an optimal thing. That was an okay fight, I'd say.
Meet me by the archery range to
okay, this little part there, there's usually a lag pause there. Okay, pull out your bow with black button. And then
onto one of the dummies, pull and hold the left trigger.
There, you'll probably see, I'm going to try and show you here. When you see the bow really start to bend backward, that's when you have a good shot. But if it's your first run, don't worry too much about that little optimization. Just try and make sure that it is a hard hit. But what did I just do there? I just shot the Guildmaster, and I'm now somehow allowed to progress. When you have aggressive actions performed here in the guild, there's basically a 4-strike system. Normally, when you perform aggressive actions like that, you're sent up to Maze's tower, given this little lecture, and you are losing time by doing that. Oddly enough, though, when you have a test timer going on, you have for some reason you just skips the test and you are just allowed to progress.
Next, we will learn about the ways.
Next, we will learn about the ways. That's when you want to hurt. Hit Y. That's when you want to hit Y. This is basically the same thing here. Thing you really want to do here, though, is you want to use lightning to start the timer. That's really important. Use lightning. Doesn't need to hit the dummy. Just use lightning to start the timer. Otherwise, you will get sent up to Maze's Tower for a lecture, and it will be very embarrassing.
Good, lad.
You want to hit continue every time. You don't want to repeat any of the tests. You don't want to play with Whisper either. She's very Dan's game. And time for your final exam. With Maze. The most grueling thing the developers could have possibly come up with. Hitting him 7 times with your sword, arrows, and lightning.
Go on.
Don't waste your time flourishing like I just did. All this is pretty self-explanatory. Till you get to lightning. Now just keep your bow out and keep him hard targeted. No matter what. Now I'm using lightning very specifically. I'm using it, not just holding the button down,
That's enough.
letting it hit him, then I'm resetting it. That'll take some practice. Goodness knows I still kind of fail it from time to time. But just stay where you are and keep your finger holding that left trigger down. You should, 99% of the time, I would say, remain hard targeted on Maze, no matter where he teleports to. Once you're in lightning phase like that.
It's time.
Alright, so we're going to be learning our second spell.
Choose the spell you wish to
But it's
learn.
of our own volition. We're going to be learning Assassin Rush.
Notice your experience pools going down.
You can see from the video there, it kind of zips you behind your target.
But if this runs out,
That's going to
you
come
can
into
use
play
general
in
experience to improve any of your attributes.
a little while.
To gain more will experience, use your magical abilities.
Guildmaster is very right about that. Anyway, what it doesn't say, at least I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mention a leg of it. Assassin Rush grants iframes. Will attempt to zip you behind living targets. Yeah, behind targeted living NPCs when possible. It gives you a nice boost of iframes. It propels you forward. That's a great little movement tech. And then when you go to back out of menus, you want to hit the back button
There is little else
rather than
for
just
me to
mash
teach
B.
you,
It's
but I
faster
will
to
always
just
be
hit one
around to
button
offer
input.
you guidance.
Want to grab a Wasp Menace and then head out the door. So now we're going to be incorporating Assassin Rush into our movement. So we're going to be rushing and then rolling. Rushing, rolling. Rushing, rolling. Pretty easy stuff. So just move forward, and you don't need to worry about... You usually don't need to worry about rolling somewhere you don't want to go. Unless you zip behind a target. Alright. Pretty easy stuff. Wasp Menace. There's actually some optimizations to talk about here. Mash A, roll, zap that first wasp, zap that, hopefully that's wasp that's chasing that lady, pull out your sword, dispatch the rest of the wasps, suck experience orbs, because that's actually kind of important. Pull your bow out. Hard target the wasp queen. Keep your eye open for any wasps that are flying over there. So that's a good example. Normally you just get one shot in, kill the wasps, she'll do her thing. This is unfortunate. Wait for her to spawn in more wasps, because as you saw I was hitting her but I wasn't dealing any damage. That's not usually how this goes. I'll show you, try to show it off. Draw off a better fight right here. But yeah, if you can't land an arrow for the first thing, just hit her 3 times with your sword, kill the wasps, wait for her to spawn in more wasps, and then hit her, I think, 5 more times? 5 or 6 more times? Or you could do it with lightning, either way. Okay, so quest prompts, get rid of the wasp. That was really wonky targeting, not sure why. If you have any bags on the ground, go ahead and hit A to grab them, because will potions are really handy. Helps to have freebies, especially in OG. You can actually roll while charging your arrow, so that was a better shot. Now something else you can do is you can shoot her again, and then you only need to hit her 4 more times with your sword. Collect the experience orbs.
But they are no match for your weapon.
Something else you can do while you're waiting for the Wasp Queen to finish dying
You're making good progress learning combat multipliers.
to pick up the produce that's on these tables, because you're not going to be having a lot of health restoration items, food or potions. Something I didn't really touch on, but is actually kind of important if you're looking to optimize your time, is you want to make sure that she doesn't strafe to your left when she
Maze is looking for you. He waits for you in the Barstone
is going to spawn in more wasps, because it takes her longer to spawn in wasps if she strays to your left.
Hero, your will energy is low.
Alright, so we're going to maneuver our way over to Bowerstone South, and I know I said that we're not going to be having a lot of health restorative items, but don't worry about it. You'll be fine. I swear we will be fine.
Oi! You...
Because we should at least have an apple pie in our inventory.
To the right place.
So what we're going to do, we're going to sell our health potions and our resurrection files, as we need the money. We're going to buy will potions. We're going to buy a fishing rod and a spade. Now, if you're really not confident right now, you do not need to get the fishing rod and spade here. You can instead get them later in Oakvale and buy some apples or something instead. But we shouldn't really need them all too much.
Over here. Been enjoying...
Once you concluded that business with the trader, talk to Maze. Then you're going to come over here and speak with the blacksmith, not the guard. You don't have any money. You don't have enough money to sponsor his break anyway. So, I'm going to go ahead and sell your iron longsword and your yew longbow. You're not going to back out of the menu like I just did.
Says Orchard Farm's got some weird goings on. You've come to the right place.
You're going to buy oak longbow, and then you're going to
My cousin
exit the menu.
Orchard Farm's got some weird goings.
You're going to use the guild seal. Teleport to the Heroes Guild. No Briar Rose cutscene here because this was pre-last chapters. You're going to grab Protect Orchard Farm and Boast. You just hit B.
Hey,
Get rid of the Boast menu. And you're going to make your way over to the Greatwood Lake entrance to Orchard Farm. And trust me, the travel distance is not a factor.
So you're going to be...
You might think attacking Orchard Farm's faster because there's an entrance to Orchard Farm in Greatwood entrance, but no. Attack Orchard Farm is slower, and you need combat multiplier anyway. And I mentioned I would touch on combat multiplier later. Oh yeah, kind of just went on autopilot there, I apologize. If you're really nervous about your stuff, you can grab these potions here.
Hero, your will energy is low.
You can open this chest. You can get a Willmaster's Elixir. Now, something that you can actually be cheeky about is you can do normal commands, well, more or less normal. You can't exactly use any of your context-sensitive items when you have the quick menu open. But you can still rush and roll. You can still do your movement as normal. Just kind of alternate between doing your movement and quick menu navigation. Quick menu is actually going to come in handy in a couple spots. This little bit right here, you see I wasn't going anywhere even though there wasn't really anything in front of me. That's an invisible hitbox. Try to avoid it. It's obnoxious. Anyway, combat multiplier. I have a little video about the combat multiplier. If you want to give that a watch, by all means, do so. If not, I'll just say it's experience multiplier, and it's based on the damage that you deal. So, try not to take any damage. Sometimes you are just going to get F'd in the A. Sometimes the game's just like, nah, fam, I'm gonna fuck your run. I know you're trying to speedrun here, but I don't give a shit about you. I hate you. Why would you try to speedrun me?
Some more bandits are approaching.
Sometimes it really do be like that. Pick up that experience orb. Once you're past the first phase, it gets a little bit easier. You can one-shot the archers. You get a nice fully charged first arrow shot. You can just finish the bandits off with lightning. You also want to be make sure that you're hard targeting your guard friends, zapping them to keep your combat multiplier from dropping, and keep it elevated because you want it to be as high as possible.
You are clearly becoming adept with combat multipliers.
Suck the experience orbs. Finish your guard friends, collect their experience.
So, go
Alright.
on. Try to hit me with a flourish.
Hit Whisper with a flourish, her health bar will activate.
I'm
Shoot her with arrows because she'll never block them. Now, something that catches even veteran runners off with the flourish there is if your combat multiplier drops before you actually initiate the flourish, your flourish opportunity will vanish. So, if you see your combat multiplier is going to drop, it's probably better to just wait for it to drop the level and then hit her to activate a flourish. So that way you actually save time instead of losing like 2 or 3 seconds. Thinking, I hit her, there's my flourish. I have no flourish. Shit, hit her again. Just wait. Just wait to hit her and you'll be fine. So, the combat multiplier goal there was 11. 10 will suffice. But, all in all, that split there, that quest, is going to take practice. It is rough. Rough. But the roughest part, I think, is the first wave of bandits. Once you're past that, it gets easier. But you want to be making sure that you stay out of the way of your guard friends, and you also do not get hit by the archer's arrows. Want to hard target this bandit, zap him. This will cause the other ones to aggro onto you, but it's fine. You're going to be going past them anyway. You did that to bypass a cutscene trigger, which would have wasted like 3 or so seconds. Because you don't have the gold to pay for the toll anyway. So why even bother triggering the cutscene? So the reason I didn't just go back to the guild, and also that was lucky. Basically, as soon as you load in, you want to try and charge in your guild seal. If you know for a fact that you're going to get hit, what you can instead do is just dodge and such, and then use the quick menu, and that'll just trigger the thing instantly. Or you can just go into the back menu and navigate it that way as well. I'm not exactly sure which is faster, but the back menu is safer for sure. Gonna grab this quest. Not gonna boast, because we're not gonna be boasting anymore. No reason to do so. The things you're gonna want to prioritize with upgrades,
You could be an
as I say here. If you lack experience for all upgrades at a point, there are priorities depending on the situation. Here, you need Summon, and will want to focus on Speed, Rush, and Berserk. Physique and Magic Power can be put on hold if needed. If you did get enough experience, though, you can get Physique 2, Speed 2,
more damage in melee combat and carry heavy
Summon 1, Assassin Rush 2, Berserk 1. I don't have enough for Magic Power. We're going to need to fix that later, but for now we should be okay because we did grab and use the Willmaster's Elixir. I did say that they're not equal, but for now they are sufficient. It is a sufficient substitute. But we will need to upgrade Magic Power later. You want to go in here to the good old Chamber of Fate. You want to perform the Aeons Clip, and I would touch more on this if I had the proper means to do so. If only I had made a video that included this clip.
Hero, your will energy is low. What's that?
Also, unfortunately, I've been having trouble with this, especially on console. It's much easier on PC. But sometimes, even though you have a perfect setup, the game is just like, nah, fam. You ain't gonna clip under here. I ain't gonna let you do that. Why would I let you speedrun this game? Because sometimes this game doesn't want to be speedrun. More so than TLC. But anyway, once you have your Aeon Sword, you equip it. Make sure you don't have your Wasp out anymore. You want to make sure it is dead, not summoned. Because you're going to go to Greatwood Cullis Gate. Also, I didn't touch on Berserk at all. I'll go ahead and do that here, though. So, before I touch on spawns, Berserk. What's the big whoop with Berserk? It increases your physical damage output. It increases your combat speed, so that includes rolling. It makes you unkillable while in the state. Furthermore, whenever you take damage, it increases even further your physical damage output, which will come into play. It'll come into play for Arena even for beginners, even though for 2 rounds, I don't recommend trying it if you're just starting the run. But anyway, Berserk. It's broken. It's OP. The only drawback, of course, is that it makes you scary, and people will not want to be all too friendly with you. They'll try to run away from you. That is villagers, anyway. Summon transfer time. Okay, so here we are in Greatwood Cullis Gate. Getting a summon transfer here, it depends on spawns. If you get Hobbs or Bandits, that's good. You can get a summon transfer here. If you have Wasps, no. Try not to do that. If you have Beetles, no. Kill your Wasp immediately before you come to Greatwood Cullis Gate. I don't care how experienced you are with the game. Kill your Wasp before you come here. If you have Beetles and it kills it, you're fucked. Because Beetles seldom attack, and they die in 1 hit. So, yeah, do not let your Wasp become a Beetle. Cannot emphasize that enough. Okay, so I just zapped that Spellcaster Hob 8 times. Gonna let your Wasp get the killing blow. Alright, so, Berserk. Anytime you go into Berserk, you want to cancel it. Anytime you come out of Berserk, you want to cancel it. You can do that with a roll, you can do that with an attack. You just want to make sure that you cancel it. So, with Berserk incorporated into our movement now, you see now I was rolling twice before I was using Assassin Rush, and that's because Assassin Rush's cooldown is long enough to allow for 2 rolls while berserked. Because your movement speed is increased that much. Even max speed, even max speed doesn't let you do that.
Lead the way!
In Darkwood, you will find the Chapel of Scorn. Please the deities there.
Okay, you're gonna come up to this infected trader. Really? What you do, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have 1 trader alive at the end of this quest anyway. But fastest option is just to let him follow you because there is no fate after you skip the cutscene. If you're feeling really nervous, you can grab the health potion, or not the health potion, will potion in the left barrel, red meat in the right barrel. Like, say you had a absolutely rough time with getting an Aeons Clip, which can happen sometimes. Sometimes you use way too many potions in trying to get the Sword of Aeons. Grab that will potion, it'll help you out a little bit. If you're worried about running into those spores as they explode, just use lightning. That'll get rid of them all. If you're worried about taking damage, though, try not to be. As long as you're berserked, you won't die.
The camp! We're here in one piece! Feel free to leave.
So, why'd I just kill why'd I just kill those 2? I did that because, not because I want to be evil or anything, but because it's faster to only have 1 trader following you, and you can tell when he's re-following you when his circle turns around. Any second now. Usually the fastest guy is Red Hat. Sometimes I actually prefer to bring the infected trader out of Darkwood, which you can do. Because you're ideally going to be fast enough to do that. Okay, get rid of the map.
Get your sharps out!
Okay, once you have gone berserk in the screen, do not berserk again. Do not do it. If you're really nervous, and this is kind of a screen to be nervous in sometimes because those bandits, their crossbows really hurt. And there you go, you have a res file in that chest. Or if you're just nervous for the rest of the run, because there is a spot where you could potentially die if you're not careful. This screen, you do not want to go berserk in. You do not want to be berserked when you enter it. You don't want to berserk in it until you have gotten to the Earth Troll. Because you want the trader to be following you, and if you're berserked, he won't follow you because he's scared of you. Berserk immediately if you want, if you have the will potions for it. And then, you need to make sure that the trader is at a very specific position, and that position is right there. Once he's there, you can go into the next screen. If you go into it any sooner, he's not going to be following you. So keep that position in mind. And if you're short on experience, like I was, and I probably should have done, you can grab the will, not the will potion, the, I mean, you can grab the item that the Earth Troll drops, but you can also grab the experience, because it has a decent chunk of experience, actually. Especially after you just gotten a fairly high combat multiplier.
I can't believe we made it. Thank you.
But if you don't go berserk, you can just use attack, flourish, and it'll be no problem.
You will find him in Oakvale Tavern. It seemed rather urgent.
It should still very much be daytime when you get to Oakvale, so just go into town. Shouldn't need to sleep at all. But if you are not fast enough, what you need to do is
You've received a new
sleep.
quest card.
If it's not nighttime, but just after shops are closed, sleep. There is a stone circle next to the table, over like next to the river. You can dig there, and there's a golden carrot. You want to eat that, and then it'll be day. And it also will not mess with the day cycle at all. Speaks to the general trader with the bag sign. buy his will potions. And if you didn't buy Spade and Rod, buy them here, then buy will potions. And then go on about your merry way.
Powerful.
Hopefully without anybody blocking your path to maze.
Check the guild for more quests.
Alright. Clifftop path time. I'd like to berserk now, thank you. Controller was not accepting my inputs. Okay, so I just canceled my berserk with block. You just saw that. You can do that. I have a video on summon clips, like I alluded to earlier with Aeons Clip. And I'll have a link to that in the video description, so I'm not going to touch too much on it. But the basic rundown of how it works is you summon your creature into the gate or wall or whatever, and then you use the zip behind property of Assassin Rush. So I'm not I am not moving. I am instead just targeting my hob. You saw I just zipped behind him, whereas normally I'd travel fairly far. I just zipped behind him. So you want to have your creature summoned at a decent enough angle. Sometimes, if you've just summon clipped, it's not going to be responsive to that. You're not going to turn around.
Hero, your will energy is low.
Yeah. I have a video that touches on that in way better detail. So I'm going to be lazy here and not really talk too much about it. But that's what you're doing, essentially. And the reason we're doing this is so we can get to Twinblade's camp's Cullis Gate. If it weren't for that, there would be no reason to do this. It would be a complete waste of time. But you actually save a considerable amount of time doing this, because you're not going through a bandit-infested road. So much for being abandoned, eh? And the bandits in there fire, as we like to say, warning shots. Lethal warning shots. And you're going to be opening 5 chests, and you're going to be using will potions for berserk, and it's just not a very fun time, so why put yourself through all that undue stress? Soon as you use the guild seal here, you'll be highlighting Twinblade's camp. Just hit A and right on the D-pad, which you can actually do. You can navigate the menus solely through the D-pad if you wish, just like with WASD in Lost Chapters on PC.
You better talk to me.
All right, so I use basically a similar setup, only it's just on a smaller scale for this gate to the first one.
Hero, your will energy is low. What's that?
Don't need to bother with any Aegis potions in this run because they only give 100 experience as opposed to TLC's 1,000. So you can just go through the next areas. No need to worry about it whatsoever. Although if you are not comfortable with your summon clips, what you can instead do is actually kill the bandit that's over by the barrels. I'll actually show that off. Or you can kill the pub game dude. Either way, both of them have a bandit pass. So yeah, you can kill this dude. Lose bandit pass. Or you can kill the pub game dude. Either way.
If you don't have a pass,
then talk to this dude, he'll let you in. Again, that's if you're not comfortable with your summon clips. They can be a bit tricky to get used to. And they definitely require practice. And if you're still not comfortable, you can just kill this dude as well. Loot his key. Free these hostages. That way you don't need to spend 2,000 gold on the assassin you don't have.
Well done. The gate is open. You can go to Twin Blades area now.
To open the gates.
Your will energy is low. What's that?
And you also get a decent chunk of experience out of it. Alright, now the way I handle the Twin Blade fight. Usually foolproof. Like 9 times out of 10 it works for me. I'd say flawlessly, and it's also like actually safe. So, have full mana, zip behind Twin Blade, punch him, pull your sword out, zip behind him again as he attacks, roll backwards twice, step back a little bit, get him into the middle, rush behind him, attack him, go berserk. You want to actually take 2 berserk hits while in berserk. I think 1 hit is actually sufficient, but if you have Physique 2, you don't need to hit him twice, you only need to hit him once, but if you only have Physique 1, or no Physique at all, those 2 hits are necessary, and you also need to deal 2 hits yourself. The reason it's dangerous is because after you've downed him, the bandits in the circle will charge at you, and they can actually kill you in the transition between the gameplay and the Teresa cutscene. So that's why it's actually a good idea, especially for your first run, to go ahead and grab the Resurrection file in Ancient Coloscate like I did earlier. But that is the Twin Blade fight. So when you get to the autosave here, hold down on the D-pad once the autosave has halfway finished, and you'll perform what I call a seal buffer. And that will just instantly charge your guild seal as soon as you come out of it. And this is an OG exclusive. So utilize it. Please utilize it. It's fun. It feels good. It saves time.
That was a very impressive victory here. Okay. But Maze
I'd recommend against going berserk quite yet. Just so you have better deals. You're going to go to this trader, you're going to sell your oak longbow, you're going to be making room to auto-equip a master longbow later on in the run, and you're going to buy a maximum stock of will potions. Don't need to worry about buying all of them.
A new quest card.
Whatever the game gives you, usually 50 or so, it should be fine. Then you can go berserk, go to Maze, talk to him. You're going to perform another seal buffer here. You're going to go down in the menu and go to Witchwood Coloscate.
You received a new quest card.
Quest prompt immediately.
Rumor has it that somewhere
Pull your sword out, go berserk, cancel it.
that only a true hero can acquire.
Ideally, you want to try and hit both those bramble bushes in one swing. As long as you've cleared the path for yourself, that's really all that matters, I guess. Just go past the thirst troll. You don't need to fight, rock troll rather. You don't need to fight him at all. Like the game would probably hint at doing. Because it certainly gave me that impression when I played this the first time. Now, you can perform a summon clip here. But if you're not confident in this, and this only saves, like the notes here say, 5 to 8 seconds, depending on how quickly you do it, you can just do it as normal and hit the stones in the order of HITS. Being immature is a waste of time.
Sir, the archaeologist is alive. That's good. Keep him safe.
And then
You should return to the guild now.
no,
There's an important quest card.
Maze is wrong. You should not return to the guild now. You should. You should go to Knothold Blade because, well, it's in trouble, and it'd be faster to go there now, so you unlock the Coloscate. Then it would be to go back to the guild and then go there.
Check the guild for more.
And it actually saves time for 2 reasons. 1, you don't need to travel all the way back from Witchwood Coloscate. 2, you don't need to worry about autosaves when entering Witchwood Lake like this. Because autosaves are counted in your time, obviously, RTA. So you really want to just go to Not Whole Glade first, then go back to the guild. Gives you a much better setup anyway. Don't need to worry about that nymph like you do in TLC.
This is the village of Not Whole Glade. I'll barred for the moment. Come
Thank
back
you,
to the
game, for
guild.
accepting my inputs there.
Quest to help.
Grab a white Balverine. Then you want to upgrade some stuff. Hopefully I have the experience for this. Physique 3 rather. Nothing in skill. We're going to be getting multi-strike 1. Going to be getting physical shield 2. And then I would like to upgrade my magic power a bit.
Increases your capacity for storing mana.
The game will actually let me get a full deal of magic power. You don't need to get that much magic power here, though it probably helps to do so. The things you really want, though, are Physique 3, Multi-Strike 1. This will let you actually one-shot the initial 4 Balverines here. So, get Physical Shield up, play Multi-Strike, Berserk. You want to making sure that you're not looking where these guys will spawn. This will actually make them spawn. As you see, I'm looking where they're spawning, and they don't spawn until they're not on camera. Try not to let them slip past you like they just did to me.
Hero, your will energy is low.
If they do, just chase them down. It's unfortunate, but oh well. It's really tough to actually catch them. So, like I just demonstrated, even I fail at it sometimes. I'm gonna do the same thing with lightning that you did on Maze with White Balverine here. And then, just to save yourself a little bit of time, you can hit him when he stops moving. And you'll cancel a hell animation. Because that wastes a bit of time. Try not to hit him when you're Berserk, though, because that'll knock him down. So don't go Berserk for that first wave, or first phase there. Same thing, just hit him when he's no longer moving, then he'll jump. I'm going to be given a silver augment. We're not going to be utilizing it whatsoever, as we have the best weapon, bar none. For most situations, anyway. And then, like, you had to make sure that you, we're not looking where the Balverines spawned to get them to spawn. You need to look, get the camera so White Balverine is not on the frame, and that will trigger the cutscene faster. You can just pan the camera, or you can try assassin rushing, either or, just as long as he's not on screen. Alright, this is another tricky thing, and it's also another combat multiplier heavy section. You want at least 18 by the end of this. It helps to have physical shield 2 and magic power. You want to hit him with Berserk. You want to make sure you're using multi-strike until Berserk runs out. That setup works really well, because 3 multi-strike Berserk hits will actually get him to the next phase. Then you can just start wailing on him with regular swings, and he will never block you. And do this until he is dead. And then your combat multiplier should also be above 10, and this will give you the ability to use what we refer to as super flourishes. Regular flourishes do 1.5 times normal damage. The way we refer to as super flourishes, though, they deal double damage. Suck experience orbs. You can actually continue sucking experience orbs if you go into the quick menu first, then hold right trigger, and then navigate the quick menu to warp to Knothole Glade. Because that'll plonk you just right outside the gate, at the Cullis Gate. And it's faster than manually moving your way back up the hill into Knothole Glade. I thought they did 1.5 times damage, but I could be wrong.
So
Might be remembering the data wrong, but super flourishes I do know do double damage. That's the important thing.
Familiar status.
Seal buffer here. Back to the guild. And then because we actually got our magic power to where we need it already. And that would be magic power 3. Pretty sure we did. Yeah, we're at magic power 3. The only thing we need to get here is force push 2. So actually, if you have the experience to upgrade your magic power before doing the White Balverine quest, by all means do so. It's a very combat multiplier heavy section, and Physical Shield will protect your combat multiplier from dropping, because as Orchard Farm demonstrated, taking damage will drop your combat multiplier. It'll also do it very specifically, so if you have like anything above 5, it'll drop down to 5 after a hit. If you have less than 5, it'll drop down to 0. There are what the game refers to as secure levels. I forget exactly where they all are, but I know the highest secure level is, I believe, 40. So once you have it above 40, you really, really do not want to get hit ever. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of... thinking of TLC. Or I'm thinking of all silver quests. Never mind. I thought for some reason I needed to get Berserk 2. Berserk 2 would be really handy here, but unfortunately we can't quite afford it usually. Talk to the guard here on the left. Mash A. Be led into the arena. Time to skip Y. There's a cutscene here.
Heroes. If you follow me, I'll take you to the arena preparation area.
Continues mashing Y. Skip that cutscene. Talk to this trader. Buy his will potions. And then I would recommend assigning your will potions to a button of your choosing. And also, while you're here, assigning fishing rod and spade, again, to buttons of your choosing. And that'll come into play in Litchfield Graveyard later. And then moving Al here is purely optional. It'll only save you like 3 seconds, maybe, at worst. Couldn't say at worst, because sometimes the game really does not let you move anywhere. But this is just so that you can talk to him immediately instead of having to go up the stairs to talk to him. Because once you're able to go into the arena, you need to talk to Al, the NPC, this guard in particular, be led into the arena. And you're just waiting for time to pass anyway, so why not just move him in that time? Again, just keep mashing A. I should have Physical Shield up already, but make sure you throw Physical Shield up. Pull your sword out. Strike these wasps down. Force push. I didn't really explain this at all, but we're going to go ahead and do it now while we're killing wasps. Force push has a nice benefit of not being at all discriminate.
Hero, your will energy.
With regards to dealing damage. As in, it will deal damage to corpses. So you can build combat multiplier off of that. Keep your mana full. And the higher level your force push is, and the more bodies that are around, the more combat multiplier you'll gain as a result.
Hero, your will energy is low.
But force push itself does not check to see if what it is hitting is alive or dead. But it's very indiscriminate. Much to our benefit. And And then with Berserk and Sword of Aeons and the physique we have, we'll just one-shot pretty much every hob in the arena. Literally every hob. I'm also using my Berserks in a very specific cycle. Like, the arena is going to take some time to get used to, but you should be able to get through it just fine with Aeons in general. Even if you don't, like, go through all of this stuff. But I am going to be keeping my combat multiplier from dropping and getting it as high as possible to show you what is optimal. Thankfully, in OG, because there's only spell mode, there is no hotbar. You can actually cancel the ending animation of Berserk by going into Berserk again. So if you're running out of Berserk, absolutely do that. If there is still an active threat in the area.
Hero, your will energy is low. What's that?
You need to deal with. Also, GG. Yeah, the Wasp round, Hallop round, very simple stuff. Regular Balverines, again, still die to Berserk Multi-Strike with Physique 3. You can also use Force Push to cancel death animations. That's a bit of a micro-optimization. Whisper is also annoying. You want to make sure you kill the regular Balverines as quick as you can. Because if she does regular attacks on them, she stands a chance to have them block her. And it's just slow, and they jump up into the air, and they can take forever to come back down, and it's just a headache, and Whisper is just annoying. He does serve a purpose here in the arena, though, and I'll touch on that once I get past this round. And then, again, you can just use regular hits. White Balverines will never block you. And Whisper can sometimes come in with her battle charge and knock them down. Really annoying, but it's gotta power through it. This is also just being safe. Not gonna touch at all on our Spinny Boy technique. Because that's really risky. It also requires very specific setup. Come here, bud. Super Flourish. Try not to knock these guys down because attacking them is faster. As far as I'm aware. You want to make sure that you keep your eye on your mana at all times, because if you drop your physical shield, that's not fun. Because your multiplier. Also want to try and keep them away from the blade traps, too. Talk to Whisper when the announcer starts his dialogue, then you can skip it.
These two did a great job.
Saves literal minutes, by the way. Alright, Undead round, very simple. These guys are slow movers. They can hit hard, so again, always keep your eye on your mana, like I've been saying. Next wave has 2 lieutenants. Now, lieutenants have 1,000 health, and I just went into the blade trap there, and I took a hit. Now, the damage buff of Berserk works even through physical shield. So, taking a hit increases my damage just enough so I can actually deal the full 1,000 to one-shot them.
Almost killed this one.
You didn't almost kill anything, Whisper. She'll claim that a lot. Pay her no mind. Just push her out of the way. Something I really haven't touched on either is flipping through spells. And that's something that's going to come into play a lot, especially here in the arena. Like before, it was like, okay, I didn't really need to do this all too often, but it's something you're going to need to get used to.
Hit 1. Go.
It's one of the challenges of console runs. Oh, come on.
Come on.
Whisper being annoying as usual.
Having Having fun there, fun boy?
If you talk to Whisper early, you can sometimes wait it out. And you'll still be able to get the announcer's dialogue. But, like I said earlier, just the best bet is to wait until the announcer actually starts his thing after a round. Then you can just go ahead and skip it without much of any concern. First wave of bandits, really simple. Just hit them with Berserk melee. That's it.
3, 2, 1, go!
For this round, you'll either need to multi-strike the lieutenants or take a hit from either blades or just from the enemies while berserked, and then you'll one-shot them. This round, I usually use blade traps a bit more for this round, especially. Don't really need to if you don't want to. Berserk multi-strike for the first, like, however many bandits you can get in is fine. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, this will serve as a good example, I guess.
Your health is low. Any potions or food?
I've almost killed this one.
Now, normally I'd personally reset, but can't exactly reset for a guide. So, yeah, I wasn't really touching on strategy to expedite that and make it much simpler and faster. Earth trolls are easy. 3 berserk multi-strikes will do, or you can multi-strike. I think either way, I think you need 3 hits. Because you only have multi-strike 1 at this point.
This.
And then rock trolls. Rock trolls, it's a bit more difficult. Basically, go into berserk as soon as the announcer says go. Get behind a rock troll, wail on him, use assassin rush every now and then. This will keep him in a looking around animation, ideally, or Whisper will grab aggro somehow, completely ignoring you. Just make sure that you're behind the troll. Use assassin rush occasionally. You'll actually manipulate their AI into continuing to look around, being dumb. Whisper stole the kill. I'm a bit cross with you, Whisper. And then comes Archaeologist. Big and scary, but also not the most scary thing in the world. Scarier in TLC. It's actually pretty easy in OG. Once you've pushed him into a health threshold, he'll burrow, and out comes some scorpions. Just kill them. Don't need to worry about killing them quickly, because they do not affect his resurfacing at all. You also just deal so much damage with Aeons anyway, so yeah, don't really need to worry too much about using multi-strike either. This run, once you have Aeons, is friendly enough to be completable, even if you don't necessarily do it the most optimal way. Aeons pretty much just carries you through the run, where you need it to the most. Force Push Whisper, make sure she doesn't steal Arachnox experience from you, because that is important. Every little bit counts.
We have 2 winners.
Go Berserk. Now you want to make sure that you use Assassin Rush to get behind Whisper.
You've improved since training.
Now, when she does this, she'll start chucking nades at you.
We have
You want to wait for her to land and reach into her pocket to throw a nade and then rush her and then hit her. You should usually get away with not much trouble. But when she starts going for a grenade, that's when you want to rush her.
My dear lady, it was mere luck. He's nothing but a...
And obviously, killing her.
I haven't seen anything like
Unless you're going, like, slow enough, she shouldn't ever reach her nade phase before, you fight her. But once you're done with the arena, you want to go to Barrowfields. There's no steel buffer because of the cutscene. You do, however, want to put your weapon away, because that will affect a seal buffer in just a quick moment. Because seal buffers require the same things as Guild Seal does normally. As in, you cannot teleport if you're in the middle of an animation, like waving even, or an attack, or roll. You have to be stationary. Or in the, like, I guess, end lag of an animation. I didn't even do the seal buffer, because I wasn't paying attention. That's fine. Alright, this will be a good example, probably, of, upgrade prioritizing. I swear I know how to speak English. Alright, there we go. Grab rescue the Archaeologist. Now the things you're going to want to focus on are movement. So, want to get Assassin Rush, Berserk. You know, Berserk doesn't affect your speed at all. Once you have it, it's the same every rank. It just increases the duration and the damage that you deal. But you want to focus on that stuff. After that, you can work on tertiaries. Multi-strike will be helpful for a couple of fights. Don't really need multi-strike 4. It's a bit expensive. If you have the experience for physique, you do not need max physique at all. I don't even get it in my world record run currently.
Accuracy allows you to cause more damage in ranged combat.
You want a bit of accuracy.
And make your shots more precise.
Magic Power 7 is also acceptable. Multi-arrow is also helpful for 2 fights, admittedly, but it's still useful for 2 fights. Don't have the experience for max accuracy. It's fine. Don't need it. Don't have the experience for max magic power. It's fine. We don't need it. And then physical shield, you can probably maybe afford 3 if you need it. If you feel like you want it. It's just less will potions that you'll end up using as a result of taking damage or preventing damage, however you want to look at it. Once you've upgraded, go to Bowerstone South.
Disappointed, sir.
Good for you.
Something I also really haven't touched on
hello there.
is, well, I haven't really had an opportunity because my speed's been the same until after Arena. But, you're going to want to practice your movement at all the different levels of speed that you have. Because they do feel very different from each other.
Remember, I'm pleased to serve you.
And you're going to want to talk to this trader by Master Longbow. And if you are not comfortable with your potion count, I happen to be quite comfortable with mine. You can buy his will potions as well. And because you sold your oak longbow at the guild after Twinblade, or was it after? Yeah, it was after. You'll have the Master Longbow auto-equipped. That saves time in a menu that you don't need to do. And then this quest, you just do as intended.
Following!
I don't exactly recommend Barrier Clip because you don't have a, likely won't have anyway, an easy way of force pushing the minions around you. to free up the
The summoner has erected a barrier.
ability to actually perform barrier clip. It's not really a massive concern. It only saves like 3 seconds, I'd imagine, for OG anyway. It may be more like actually 5, but when you can just kill that minion in one hit, why bother? Why bother subjecting yourself to a massive time loss when you might have to actually just go ahead and bite the bullet and kill that minion anyway? So that's why I don't actually do barrier clip in OG runs, because I don't really feel the want to. So many other ways your run can go pear-shaped. But yeah. Rescue the Archaeologist is probably the most vanilla quest that we've done in a while.
You're running out of time.
Doesn't require anything special. I will say though, you are rewarded for going fast, because if you get down to the dock, kill the 2 Dreadwings that are here. You can rush on this dock, by the way. It's really helpful. If you can get there before any other minions do, you'll automatically finish the quest. You're not going to do a seal buffer here. You're going to manually move your way out of here because load times on console are
You've received a new quest
big
card.
Keck W. So the recall strategy will not be effective here at all. But yeah, things are going to be pretty well vanilla from here on out. Nothing too special. Gonna be focusing on movement. Really, the hardest part of the run is already done. The only extra hard part that is going to come around is going to be Jack of Blades. And even that's kind of subjective, depending on what you have available to you at the time. If you don't have stuff that I have already, like max accuracy and whatnot, pick up experience orbs still. They can be used right before you go to fight Jack. It'll still make him easier. But yeah. Kind of running out of things to talk about.
Oh, hello.
Make sure you grab Nostro's helmet before you talk to the Gravekeeper.
Oh.
Otherwise, you'll have to go all the way back to the hut, or the house, whatever. Alright, so I was lucky here. The guild seal was not flashing the experience icon at me. If you have an excess amount of experience, and you have the guild seal flashing the experience icon at you, it's annoying. And it was something like that. That's why we bound the rod and spade while waiting in the arena. Because in the original Fable, the experience icon takes priority over the actual context-sensitive item of fishing rod and spade. I actually got lucky both times here. This fish in OG is evil, but nowhere near to the extent of last chapters. So really, you kind of have to be greedy in order to snap the line in OG. That's much more forgiving than it is in TLC. So just be patient with it. And then something else I didn't really mention there was because I'm so used to it, and I'm also a bit of a smooth brain. Don't be mashing the A button as fast as you possibly can. Roll immediately. Should get a quick fade here. Yeah, don't be mashing A like as fast as you can, because the game only accepts a certain amount of inputs in a span of time. So you kind of have to find a rhythm that works best for yourself. If I could give you a beats per minute, I would, but I don't have one for you. So I apologize for that. Yeah, you want to kill that big undead that was there to get the door cutscene to trigger. The absolutely pointless, but not pointless at all, door cutscene is the bane of this run's existence. Just this game. These undead need to be in the circle, be vulnerable. Whether or not they notice you, you want to try and be close to them if you can. Kind of influence them to move towards you. There is a slight crash potential if you're unlucky. But as long as you're not doing super flourishes above where the lieutenants spawn, you'll be fine. It's all pretty simple stuff still, though. Alright, we're not quite down to our P and T break yet. P and or T break. But we're coming up to it. Still got a bit of movement to get through first. Not too many obnoxious corners around here. Pull your sword out. Gonna kill the 3 Balverines, the 3 undead that spawn in here. That's a pretty sharp corner. Run around it if you need to. Go through this way. You're going to come across a nymph, but because you have OG console Assassin Rush, you don't need to worry about backdashing to her. When you get to the door, a barrier will spawn. You need to kill the undead. And the barrier will be dispelled. You can go through. If you somehow manage to actually afford Inflame 4, you can just use that twice and you'll actually save a couple of seconds. But don't worry about Inflame 4 all too much. It's really not needed. This is a simple roll forward, interact with the lever, roll backward, go out the door. You can re-enter Berserk in here. Any guards get in your way, just hack through them.
How'd you get down here?
Use Assassin Rush in this black screen for a bit of safety. Save on will potions a bit.
We'll be back to get
and then welcome to prison.
Later. Then we'll have a bit of fun. He'll enjoy it,
so yeah,
won't he, Tibbs?
You can probably see why this would save time when it's being run in other languages, because this is not a cutscene. It's not text-based, it's dialogue-based. And, well,
and don't try any of that funny
every language just so happens to be spoken faster than English. In this part of the game. Every single region is, every language is faster than English. Which is a shame, but oh well. Can't win them all.
Down here, mate. Nothing to be ashamed of.
So yeah, if you wanted to take a break, this would be the best time to do so.
This is both race us round the courtyard and take bets on who'll win. Then the winner gets a trip to the warden's office and... well, what goes on in there is too cruel to mention. Still, at least you get a good look at his place. And there's more than books and furniture in there. Miserable, good-for-nothing guards.
Look lively, scum. Time to move out. It's race time, and you'd better put on a good show. Some of us have bet a lot of money on you. Win, and we like you. Lose, and you get around in the torture chamber. That sounds fun. Yes, sounds fun. Let me hear it.
Oh, I've been here forever.
Alright. It's race time. If you happen to not be back yet,
3, 2, 1.
well, it's fine. You can actually lose this first race and you don't lose all that much time.
That warden trip is mine.
Keep running, scum.
The only time you lose is from cutscenes. But you don't actually have to do the poem bit for the first year if you really need to take a massive crap in the middle of prison. You know what? Sometimes it can happen, I'm sure. Shit happens. It's fine. Nobody's judging you for it. Well, these guys are, but what they say doesn't matter.
Keep running, scum.
Bravo. Welcome.
Roll during that black screen. Get hopefully a free rush.
The
Roll rather.
cautionary song of the jailbird. Behold.
And you can actually make it a little bit faster by actually triggering the sound meter to be full. Mash A, and then mash Y. Saves a bit of time as opposed to sneaking your way back over to the books. You can just make enough noise, move the meter up to full, and then be reset at the door. It's a little bit faster.
You might have noticed there's a few less of you this year. I wonder what happened to them, eh?
Oh, you survived. Another year, another race. But we've got to get into the warden's office. We've got to get that key. Oh, I've been here forever. What's changed up there?
Look lively, scum. Time to move out. It's race time, and you'd better put on a good show. Some of us have bet a lot of money on you. Win, and we like you. Lose, and you get around in the torture chamber. That sounds fun. Yes, sounds fun. Let me hear it.
And race number 2. Or, if you didn't come back in time, race number 1.
3,
So you actually need to win.
1.
You'll never, ever, ever get the key the first year. You always have to spend a year in prison, which is a big bane. Kind of like Litchfield Graveyard is, but it is nice to have a break. Good time to get yourself a cup of tea. You're running in English anyway.
Get your finger out, puss bag. Call that running,
You again.
I usually wait here. I'm not mashing Y to skip that cutscene, just to make sure I can get that free roll. Not sure how optimal that really is, but it's something I prefer to do, regardless.
Oh, gray is the prettiest color.
Anyway, second year, or just any year after the first, you'll get the key. Be mashing Y, skip this cutscene, hit A, then roll. You can do a Link to the Past movement there, kind of. You can move blocks and then use the fire rod over them, light the torches and whatnot. It's cool. But yeah, you can just roll through the gate while it's moving. Just as long as you interact with it first. Come into the prison barracks. Open this chest in the back. Get your belongings back.
Come here, you rat!
Get yourself ready to get moving. Don't wave at the guard like I just did. Play multi-arrow if you have it. It's gonna come in handy for a Kraken fight. You're automatically targeting the lever when you enter here, so just hit A once, only once. Go on about your merry way.
Oh no, you don't! Stop right there! Stop right there! You're dead! No, wait, it's that.
And until you get back to the Kraken, it's just movement. So, usual stuff. Nothing really special here. Some corners, again, are going to still be sharp, so you might have to run around them. You have to just adjust on the fly. This area is pretty dark, so you need to turn brightness up at all for your game. And make sure you probably do that ahead of time. Oh, come on. That is true, actually, yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. The upper path spawns undead, so you want to take those out there.
Don't worry about me. There's life in me still.
You can adjust your hard target with the right analog stick.
Don't worry about me. There's life in
Crap
me
baskets.
still.
If you don't dispatch all the Kraken tentacles with multi-arrow, you can just dodge and use the Sword of Aeons to kill them off. Kill, quote. They have 550 health, I believe. I just did that to reset my multi-arrow charges. I'd rather have a full set. Not the cleanest job, but it works. If your accuracy isn't max, you might have to use multiple multi-arrows. It's fine. Don't worry too much about it. Optimally, you'll want to have one multi-arrow charge, but it's not the worst idea to have all of them at the ready for when you leave. Seal buffer to Barrow Fields.
Your guild seal has been reactivated. Welcome back.
Guildmaster has absolutely zero regard for the amount of emotional damage that you've gone through over the last year, but it's fine. He's going to be disappearing after the run anyway, so it's fine.
For more quests. You've received a new quest card.
You need to get to the Calais Gate in the middle of Darkwood. The gate will only open when its hunger for undead souls is sated.
So yeah, as your mother just explained to you, you need to kill undead to feed their souls to the Calais Gate here. Because that's the thing, I guess. The big ones will fill it faster than the smaller ones. So you want to prioritize them.
You need to find the room.
But as long as you're killing them, you're fine. Don't worry too much about having your sword out here. You're not going to be holding it out much longer. And the guards take a long time to get up in your face about putting your weapon away anyway. They'll give you several warnings for that before they actually act on it. So, you can see even with my bad movement there. I wasn't ever asked to put my weapon away properly because I was just moving too quickly for the guards to really do anything about it.
Are you in your way? Something isn't right here. What? No! No!
Lewd sounds, but never mind that. Grab this book. Nache for a little bit.
You have reached famous
Get yourself ready to go downstairs.
I have a quest card from your mother. Quickly, come to the map room and speak to me.
Talk to the Guildmaster. Warp back to Hook Coast. Nobody goes there. Nobody comes from there. Except you. And whoever lives there. But they don't exactly leave, so I guess nobody does come from there.
We've got to get out of here.
Except for
It's
yourself.
after us.
Alright, so maze fight. I have a video explaining this in pretty fine detail, I think. Bit hard to follow for OG, but the concept is basically the same, but for your first runs, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Also, I just applied multi-strike. It's just going to be killed by the cutscene, which is a legit thing. Cutscenes kill multi-strike in the original version. So, you want to go Berserk, pull out your sword. If you can use multi-strike, do it. Apply it. That wasn't full damage, so he's going to go to phase 2. This fight has 5 phases. I'm going to wait for him to throw a Hob Orb again. Okay. Don't really need to put too much emphasis on doing this super quick. This is your first few runs. Yep. I try to get closer to him so Berserk would actually knock him down, but use Assassin Rush when he does inflame. That'll give you the iframes to deal with it without wasting a bunch of will potions.
That's right, boy.
You can hit him as he's getting back up. This will actually let me skip the phase there. And then force push him if he's at 0 health. Skip his not dying animation.
Hero, I must see you.
Normally you'd steal buffer back to the guild, but I was a bit distracted by myself. Like the note says, movement and enemy spawn RNG, which shouldn't play too much of a role. Nash Y, skip through that.
You've received a new quest card.
Put yourself back on your Berserk Assassin Rush tier, unless you moved your spells to somewhere else. This is why you wanted to break both of those bramble bushes when you were here the first time. I knew that would come back to bite me. It's fine though. You can be cheeky if nobody spawns in front of you and use lightning. That actually cost me a little bit of time in my world record recently. I had very unfortunate enemy spawns, but you can be cheeky and use lightning on Jack to trigger the cutscene a bit faster. Provided, of course, that, again, nothing spawns in front of you to steal your target. So like that. I just saved myself moving across the bridge.
Jack is at the hot cave from the site.
This is actually just like the quest, though, where the one beauty of having a controller to run with actually shines. And that's rushing in the direction that you want to go in. Unless something spawns in front of you as you're trying to rush.
He must be stopped.
And then you just zip behind it and your rush is still cut short. Which can happen. It does happen. But it's not as detrimental as side dashing or back dashing. Usually you want to get on the other side of that broken wall. That will trigger the cutscene. Going to the focus site is slower in triggering the cutscene. Oddly. Alright. So, this is your last opportunity to spend any experience. So if you want to do that, you're by all means do so. You want to upgrade accuracy, so you do the thing fastest. By all means, again, do so. Still don't need max physique. Max accuracy does help, though. Max multi-arrow does help. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of recharges, because I want to show you something that you can do. One of the nice little properties that used to be in TLC much earlier on, but is no longer utilized until literally Jack and Blades. Same as this. But the way I handle this fight, really simple. Go Berserk. Kill the minions. Focus on the Dreadwings because they prefer to be stationary. The War Dogs will move toward you. Get Force Push ready. Hit Jack a few times. Push him out of the center. So as to avoid him potentially glitching under the floor and killing your run. If you're on a PB pace anyway. On target Jack. Roll out of the way of that beam. If you have max multi-arrow and max accuracy, and you have the last charge of multi-arrow, you can one-shot him with a full shot. You can kill your sister or destroy the sword. Your choice. Timing ends there, after you skip the cutscene for either sparing her or killing her.
Albion was freed from the dark shadows.
And there you go.
There
is your Fable any percent speedrun. Hopefully this guide was easy enough to follow. Hopefully it was helpful. Stuff that I said I would have videos for, like the maze fight, summon clips. Those will be in the video description. But yeah. I should probably mention in-game time is just on the leaderboards as a data point, but it's not used for anything other than just a fun little data point because it is inaccurate, because it does not include time spent in menus in the final time. So you would either just, before making the decision about your sister, just enter the back menu, personality, find your in-game time, then add on 15 minutes to that, because the credits are 15 minutes. As opposed to Lost Chapters is 11 minutes. But either way. Again, hope this guide was helpful. Thanks for watching, and yeah. Good luck in your runs. If you have any questions, the Fable Discord, I will have a link to that, the Fable Speedrunning Discord, is hands down the best way to get questions answered with either the run itself, getting live split configured, getting your stream or recording situation figured out. We can help you with that. I didn't touch about capture quality. The only thing that we require, I think I may have did, but the only thing we require is just that the gameplay is visible and audible. As long as game audio and video are seen and audible I'm repeating myself, but yeah, don't need anything fancy. You don't need it to be 480p. It can literally be a web camera or something in front of a CRT or a flat panel. Whatever your capture situation is, it's fine. We just need the gameplay to be visible and audible. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, Fable Speedrunning Discord, link in the description. Go there, we'll help out. We're always happy to help. But yeah, again, take care, have a nice day, stay safe, thanks for watching. I'll catch you again soon.